Guides Against Poaching is an initiative that started pre-COVID, and where it started was there was a need along the Hwange National Park boundary to collect disused telephone wire. And what we found very, very early on, that there was a lot of different players in that area, and they were doing their own little piece and taking out a couple of kilometers here, a couple of kilometers there. There was a lot of work that had been done. During COVID, early part of COVID, when the first lockdowns happened, we had about 40, 50 guides who were doing nothing. So we asked them if they wouldn't mind coming in and helping out. And of course, these guys with no work were only too pleased to get back into the bush. So we took a team down, and over 3 months we pulled out around 700 kilometers of telephone wire. There were a lot of guides involved, and there were a lot of different partners and partnerships that we actually made during that first phase. A lot of different people in that area, including national parks themselves. They came out. It was something on their boundary. It was nothing in the park itself. And so it was in park's best interest to help. Tel1 is our telephone provider here in Zimbabwe. They also came in and they helped out, and a lot of private sector individuals. And it very quickly dawned on us that we needed to do more. A collective, collaborative effort was required if we were going to do meaningful things. And so the idea of GAP was then formed. Rob Lurie and myself thought about how we might better put this thing together, and we came up with a trust. It's a closed trust, and it looks at helping members of the Zimbabwe Professional Guides Association. If there is an area that is in need of help, whatever that help might be, whether it's anti-poaching efforts or collecting wire, a member of ours can put an application forward and can say, we need help. We will then review the application, and then obviously there's a yes or a no. And in many cases we can say yes, and we get a team down and we help an effort. So at the moment here in the Zambezi National Park, we are helping an effort. There are a number of players, individuals here that are involved in anti-poaching. We don't come in to take over anything. We don't create any initiatives, but we support initiatives. We are certainly not an umbrella entity that comes in and dictates and tells people how to do their job, because they're a lot more professional at doing these jobs than what we are. But what we do is we come in as a support. The way I like to talk about it is almost like a salad bowl. You've got this bowl going on that brings everyone together, but you've got lots of different products in that salad bowl that then work nicely together, whether it's your lettuce and your tomato and your onions. And so we will come in and we will provide the catalyst to make entities work together. And we'll also provide additional boots on the ground. We've got a lot of guides in Zimbabwe, and we've got around 5,000 learner guides, or learner professional hunters as they're more correctly known as. And many of those people want to get into the bush. They want to get into places that is not accessible to them through normal routes of getting a job. So they volunteer their time. But I don't like using people. It's nice that they're there, and it's nice that they help us, but I don't want to use people. So we have to give something back. Guides Against Poaching doesn't just look at the learners, it actually also targets the professionals. And in order to do a program, we will have professionals that will come in to an area, and during the course of the day we'll have our learners and we will talk to them about their logbooks and their journey to qualification. We'll help them with identifying of trees and speak to them about animals and their grazing habits, or carnivores and their eating habits and their hunting techniques. And so there's a lot of training that actually goes on. And in the evenings we try and do a different talk every night about different things, whether it's anti-poaching or relocation of wildlife, maybe programs on mushrooms or bees. There's a lot of different things that we can teach our learners, and so they get something out of it. It's not just about take. It's also about getting them into a place where they can learn. And I think that that's very important. It's a sharing of information. We've partnered with various entities. Isuzu Autoworld Zimbabwe is one of those entities. They've provided us with vehicles, and we utilize their vehicles to go into areas which need help. All of the foodstuffs has all been donated by people who are interested in conservation, and not just people in the conservation arena. We're also looking at people in cities who are passionate about wildlife and they want to give back. So they provide food and things like that. Diesel is a big thing. A lot of our garages around Zimbabwe now are helping us and providing diesel every month, so we can go about our business and making sure that we've got vehicles moving. So not only are we looking at partners in the wilderness area, but we're looking at partners outside of those wilderness areas who now we can call conservation partners. I think it's a very important thing to grow this whole network of ours. And we've now partnered up with horse units. So we've got a program in Victoria Falls called IMPI. That's a mounted anti-poaching unit, and we're supporting them as best as we can with ration packs and things like that. We're also looking now at boats. We do a lot of work along our borders, Kariba being one of the classic spots. It's a very big, wide expanse of water. And very, very recently, we've just purchased a boat, and that boat will be stationed full time at Kariba, and our members can utilize that. It will be manned, it will have a captain, and we can use that boat either for deployment, for pulling out fish nets, or for even cleaning up the shore and removing all the rubbish that seems to be flushed down our river systems yearly. We also partner with entities that do darting. So if we do find animals that have been wounded for whatever reason, they might have broken a leg, or they might have been caught in a snare or something more sinister, they will come in and they will then dart the animal, and we will see if we can't fix that animal up. If it's a snare, remove the snare. Sometimes those animals require antibiotic injections. Other times just a real cleanup of the wound site and put some antiseptic powders on, and then we put a reversal in, and those animals then run away. So another entity that we partnered with is the Victoria Falls Animal Welfare Trust, VAWS. And what they do is they look at domesticated animals. So in terms of cattle, they provide green label cattle dips. That's very, very important so that we don't kill all of the oxpeckers that come and land on there. They also provide jabs and inoculations, rabies, parvo, to dogs, domesticated dogs. And that's also very important because of the disease that's transmitted between domesticated dogs and wild dogs. One of the things that I've learned, certainly in the last 4 or 5 years, is there's no point in holding on to any of our successes. We need to share those successes. And it is my hope that our other African countries will get to understand more of what ZPGA is doing, what Guides Against Poaching is doing, and to come forth and talk to us and share in our successes and be able to take those successes back to their own home places.